to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again into Saturday evening, I guess, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And joining me tonight in studio is Mr. Levi Cress.
Yep.
And on the phone, we got America's favorite, Tiger Schultz of the Running Gun.
That's right.
America's favorite.
You're
president.
You're a fan favorite, man.
That's right.
Huh?
So what have you been
That's
up
good
to?
to know.
What have you been up to? We'll talk about the running gun in just a minute, but I saw some pictures today, and you were out there deer hunting.
Yeah. I took my daughter out for her first deer hunting experience
Did
today.
you see anything?
No, didn't see any. Haven't seen a single deer all year, which is kind of weird because I hunt at a buddy of mine's. He's got a dairy farm. And he's got hundreds of acres of cornfields. So that's where we hunt. And usually we just slay deer because it's cornfields.
Yeah.
They just and we all rifle hunting is legal on private land. So, we take our high powered precision long range rifles and go out there and just slay deer. This year we haven't seen as many, so I don't know if we're finally depopulating them to the point.
How many deer are you allowed to shoot out there? How many does he have taken off his farm every year?
Last year, so we were allowed to take in Dubois County because it's by county,
Right.
in Indiana, and in Dubois County you're allowed to take 2 does and a buck on a regular tag, and then up to 3 bonus antlerless deer if you pay for that tag.
I absolutely I lived in Kansas for 6 years, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I absolutely love their generosity with the tags because I could do the same thing, and I could get upwards of 6 deer a season. It was freaking fantastic.
A lot of
Well, yeah,
venison.
if I'm hunting on my ground here in Crawford County, I can take up to 8 deer.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but last year, I think on his place we killed like 28 or 31 deer or something like that.
And now you're wondering where all the deer are, but you guys probably got a ton of whitetail over there.
Oh yeah, it's insane. And the night after deer season was over last year, we were up in his place, just hanging out, drinking some beers or whatever, and we looked out his front window. He's got a range out his front door, and there were like 15 deer standing out in the field.
They're standing by the different yardage and windage signs. Is that what they were doing?
Oh, actually, that's the long shot last year. We were out there and we were just target shooting. We weren't even hunting. We were on his bench at his range. And we'd been shooting at a 4-inch plate at 650 yards, and a deer pops over the hill at like 675. And he's like, I'm fairly certain I could hit that. I'm like, well, shoot it. Go for it. And at this point, we've started putting like artificial restrictions on it. If they're within 300 yards, you have to take a headshot. And if you're, if you're in a certain area, like the one area is a calf barn, and so we're on a concrete pad where we can lay down and go prone. There you have to take a headshot out to like 400 yards, and
is that really hunting, Tiger?
No, it's harvesting. It's harvesting here.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good term.
Yeah, we've said for years that we don't really hunt. We like to harvest deer out of his deer garden.
It's like
but
carrots.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good because the deer population here is insanely out of control, and they do a lot of damage to his property.
Yeah.
To his crops and stuff. So it keeps him from having to file all the extra paperwork to get like depredation tags,
right,
and stuff. So there's probably 15, 16 guys that go up there and hunt every year. It's a good time. It's you know, a lot of it is much standing around after the sun's gone down and again drinking a few beers and you know hanging out and all that before you. Not a whole lot of morning hunts go on up there. A lot of evening hunts.
not a whole lot of people getting up early in the morning.
No. But you know, it's like I said, it's a good time, and that's where I was this evening with my 5-year-old. She's getting into it, so
That's cool.
Nice. How many more years till she's gonna pop a deer?
Probably 2.
You gonna make her take a headshot at 300 yards?
No. Well, actually, at that point, I might, because by that point, she'll probably be shooting enough where she can.
Nice.
But no, I'll probably set her up here on my place where the longest shots, you know, 100, 150 yards, and set her up with like I'll build her a 6mm rifle or something and go from there.
Let her shoot it and then tell her when she hits it, she's got to go drag that thing back to the house.
Got to clean it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I think when my oldest daughter, when she shot she's only shot one deer, and she tried it out and she didn't think anything was wrong with it, but she just never has had the interest to go back out and do it again. And we were in Kansas and we sat there and, you know, Dad's all getting everything all prepped up, you know, she's shooting my full size 270 and we'd gone out and shot it before and she could shoot it okay. We just got it on, on sticks and all that, you know, and a little bipod.
Right.
And I remember that we were sitting there and the bipods, they weren't the right height. And excuse me, Levi, you can turn that heat down if you want.
Good.
Okay, but they wouldn't get quite the right height. So I set like an angle, right, on my butt with my feet straight out, my legs straight out.
Yeah.
And I put the bipods, on my feet so we could get it up to the right. Here comes some deer walking down this trail, you know. And I've set out like a tarp, like a cloth tarp, so we don't, you know, scuffle in the leaves and make noise.
Right.
And this buck comes and I'm like, okay, here it comes. Here, I was way more excited than she was. And she's like, okay, Dad, okay. And I will say this, you know, the thing was dumb. It was really close to us and it did not see us or hear us or even pay us any. So this thing was stupid, right? It's a little whitetail. It goes to bed down. It beds down in front of us. And I'm like, she's like, Dad, it's going to sleep. I said, I don't freaking care. Shoot it. So, I mean, if it's that dumb, it needs to be cold, you know? And so she had the bipods on my feet. She shot it. One shot, bam, just nailed it. I'm perfect shot. And she gets up and she looks at me and goes, I shot my deer, Dad. And I said, okay. And she grabbed her stuff and head back up to the truck. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm taking care of the rest of this.
Yep, guess you're going to get it.
Yeah, they helped me do some other stuff, but she was just, as a matter of fact, I shot my deer, Dad. I'm going to go back up to the truck where it's warm.
Right.
And then, of course, she shot it in the only ravine in Kansas at that point. So, you know, it's a whitetail, but they're still a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
They are. You know, that's a buddy of mine shot one a couple weeks ago, and I went over and helped him drag it out. I was on my way to his house anyways, and he calls me. He's like, dude, I just shot a deer, and I need you to come help me drag it out. And the reason I was on my way to his house is I was dropping my daughter off at their house for a sleepover.
Uh-huh.
And then me and my wife were going to go out on a date. So I'm kind of dressed up, like not like to the nines, but, you know, nice shirt, nice jeans, all that. I'm like, all right, I'll come help you drag it out. Of course, down in a ravine and all that. We get it drug up to the truck, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to get it here. And I'm like, fine. So I'm helping him like get this deer and getting it loaded in the truck and everything. And I'm like, I somehow managed not to get covered in blood. Like, I don't know how I managed not. I was trying really hard because I was like, I've got to go out in public with my wife after this, and she's not going to be amused if I'm.
So you're still married, so everything went okay then.
I'm still married. Everything went okay.
Levi's looking at us like you guys are talking about hauling out these little whitetails. He's like, I packed out elk and moose.
That's right.
I would if you've got a line on elk, I will come shoot them. I would love to come out for an elk
I'd like
hunt.
to find them too.
Yeah, right. I'm willing to pack. Packing out elk is a little different than dragging deer.
Yep.
It's you're not dragging elk around. You're carrying out chunks.
No, we're gonna watch you. We're gonna watch you drag the whole thing out.
That's right.
Says the guy
Yeah,
who's never
right.
shot an elk before. So,
Yeah.
But
anyhow, so you've been kind of busy then. So do you take your official week off after the last run and gun like you usually do? Social media?
no. I've changed it up a little bit. I'm still on kind of that aftercare kick for Zombie, probably this, and then I'm waiting on Gun Stuff TV came out and they did a video on it. And then that'll probably be my last post for Zombie, and I will probably take the entire month of December off.
Oh, well, there you go.
And it won't just be from Gun Stuff. It'll be like I probably won't log into Facebook from December 1st to January 1st.
We'll miss you, Tiger.
Yeah, no, you won't.
So, Ray, before we get into zombie stuff, I was reflecting earlier on our last podcast that we did, so our last real conversation, and so I haven't got it yet. It's coming in this week, okay? But I bought that red dot, remember?
Right.
Okay. Now I've been fighting the urge to like whether or not I should mill my slide on my VP9. I've been fighting it, and finally I just went ahead and bought. I found one in stock, and just everything. I don't know if it worked out like it should, but it happened. I ended up purchasing a new HK VP9 2020 with the slide already cut for the optic ready version.
Right. Not just the slide, the whole gun.
It's the whole gun, yes.
Yep.
And I've got a few people here in town that I heard could mill it, but I just don't know that I trusted them. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And everywhere else is like 5-6 weeks out, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And so
you don't want to be without a pistol.
But get this. I bought this, and this is my biggest. I'm complaining to everyone about this. It takes for this Burris Fastfire 3 to go on my VP9. You know, Levi's nodding. He's nodding his head. It takes a special attachment plate, and it is on back order absolutely everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
When I built my 10 millimeter race gun, which was a Glock 40 long slide MOS. So, and it comes with like 4 different plates for all kinds of different optics and all of that. Well, I got a killer deal on a SIG Romeo 1. The Gen 1, this has been a couple, 3 years ago. And go to put it on my Glock, and it's like none of the plates fit. And I'm like, what the hell? Turns out that's the only optic that doesn't fit on a Glock MOS plate. So then I'm like, mother.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another $50 I've got to spend on a freaking adapter plate.
Yeah. I don't mind buying the plate, but it's the fact that I can't find them. And I went on to I went on to the
right now it's different.
Yeah, I went on to the HK like forums, and I just was like, I didn't ask questions, but I was just like, usually you can poke around and find your answer, And I was poking around on there, and they're like, someone's like, yeah, I got this, and I need this plate. And one guy's like, yeah, you're waiting with the rest of us because it's not, nobody has it right now. Absolutely nobody. And I poked around a little bit more and found something that says they may not even have them till like the end of January. And what I think may have happened is, I don't know, there's a couple different scenarios. I don't know for sure. But I heard that maybe they were going to like redo the plate. Now I don't know if they're redoing this plate to make it work better or for more. I have no idea, but I think that they had that in mind. And so I think they quit manufacturing them. But I think
retooling.
They're retooling, right? But I don't think they foresaw that everything was going to get bought up. And so now there's just like this big void in the market. And it irritates me. I'm like JB Welds never sounded so good. I'm serious. I'm so close. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Finally, cheap ass Todd purchased a freaking almost $800 gun to put his $200 red dot on it. I'm like, I can't do anything now.
You'd have been better off buying the $250 Holosun.
Well, and a buddy of mine's like, you should just go sell. You should sell that Burris. It's brand new. You haven't done it. You should buy a Holosun, and then you're only into an extra $50. Buy the Holosun, and then buy the plate that's available.
Well, and you probably wouldn't even need a special plate because the Holosuns all work off of the RMR
yeah.
footprint. So it's it's kind of it's becoming the standardized footprint.
Yeah. So Levi, do you want to buy a Burris Fast Fire?
No, I did not.
Dang it!
I've got you were talking in an earlier podcast. I brought it and then ended up leaving it at home. And but I have a Springfield XDM 10 millimeter with a Delta Point Pro on it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so that was my bear gun for going up to Alaska, loaded up with some pretty hot, solid copper bullets. Well, if I had to have a conversation with a bear over the salmon that we just caught. So.
Fun fact: large rifle primers fit inside of a 10 millimeter hollow point. So if you ever really want to add a little bang to your round, they do fit and they do seat and they don't explode whenever you shoot them.
We were just discussing reloading supplies and what would work for what, and I grabbed some rifle powder and I was like, I got a bunch of pistol powder too, but I got this rifle powder that I don't ever use. And Levi kind of looked at me and I said, well, if it ever came down to it, I'd figure out how to make it work for my 9mm. I got no problem trying new things.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm talking about in the end of the bullet.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no. I was going to say, don't put a rifle primer in a pistol case. That'll go badly.
Yeah.
But
I threatened to Dremel one out the other day and do it, but...
yeah. Probably 4198 would be. I used to reload some 357 mag with 4198, which is technically a rifle powder. It gets hot though. I wouldn't do it in.
Don't overpressure that.
I wouldn't do it in a semi-auto. I was shooting a revolver that was kind of overbuilt.
No, do it in a semi-auto and let us know if it works. We're curious.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If it blows the slide off the back end.
Yeah, we just make someone else shoot it like I do.
Yeah.
I always hand up my buddy, here, try this out. You never shot this gun yet. So before we get into it a little bit, I'll let Levi do a little background. So Levi does some competitive type shooting. And I think that's kind of what, and he does some different races and some different things like that. And he was that's what caused him to be a little interested in these running guns. So I'll let Levi take it for just a minute and kind of introduce who he is before we just go and no one knows who this Levi character is.
Okay. So it's probably been a couple years ago. I started getting into a little bit of competition shooting and then got into the USPSA type, pistol stuff and was doing different competitions locally. And then I've also done a little bit of the long range, well, not really long range, but the accuracy 22. And then that kind of started leading me towards, I want to do some 3-gun. And so I started dabbling in that a little bit. I've been to a few competitions. One where I just shot a PCC, just a 9mm. They let you just run the course with that.
Yep.
And so I've been accumulating gear and stuff and picked up a nice AR for it. And as I was looking at all of this and listened to the podcast, I'd heard about yours and then thought, okay, I need to do something to get my behind back in shape. I've done some endurance stuff in the past and haven't done much for the past few years. And so I thought, well, you can kind of marry some fitness stuff and some gun stuff. I mean, what's more America than that? So
yeah,
that's right.
And so, so that's what's kind of led me to consider doing this. And, Todd said he was thinking about going out and giving it a go. And so I've been looking at that, and there's a few local competitions that are similar to this as well. And so I've just been kind of kicking around that. And
where are you? And if you want to be like super generalized on this, I understand. Where are you from?
Salt Lake area is where I live now. Utah.
Okay.
And so
they
have some stuff down in Price, Utah. There's a big long range shooting range down there.
And you're not terribly far from like Desert Brutality and In Range and all of those people.
Yeah. And I know they used to do down in St. George until they had to redo their whole range. They had Hard as Hell down there. Then I think they moved it to Texas.
Well, they just came back, or they're coming back in January with Hard as Hell in St. George.
I think it's February. Or at least I noticed they had something. I saw it, And then I was like, oh, I should check that out. And it's already sold out. So
Yeah. Ken Nelson.
Yep.
I saw him share it. So he's out there. It's going to be a good time. You're out there with a good group of guys if you get in with them.
Yeah. I've been to two, training classes with TPC down there. And
Yep.
yeah, they're really good. And so, that the father-son combo, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're super good. And they are the I say this unashamedly, kind of hero worshiping a little bit. The Nelsons have done more for the shooting sports with their invention of practice score and their free use of it than probably anybody else in the last 50 years. Because I use it, every match director I know uses it, and it doesn't cost us anything. I mean, I donate to Practice Score because I use the hell out of it, but they are major contributors to the shooting sports with that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, when I first started trying to see how do you even get into this, and you start searching, and you're like, how do you find all these competitions? I couldn't find them, and I'm like, there has to be some around. And then someone introduced me to Practice Score. Well, and it turns out I downloaded the one you use at the competitions, the range officer does, and I was like, I don't understand how this works, and finally ended up on the actual website and see that that's where most of the magic happens. You sign up for all the competitions, and it has them all listed. And so that's a huge resource for a new shooter or just everyone in general.
It's the same thing with running ultras and stuff. There's a website, it's called Ultra Sign Up.
Yeah.
And you just go on there, and you can poke around online, you'll never find hardly anything. And then you pull it up there, and you can look it up by state and within so many miles of where you live, and it's fantastic.
Yep. And Practice Score, since I am a donor, they mailed me, shipped out a scoring kit for my match. So he shipped a Pelican case with 12 iPads and chargers and battery packs for them and everything, and didn't charge me anything for it. That was just part of me running a major match and being a Practice Score donor. They're like, okay, here you can use this, and then you ship it back to us on your dime.
That's great.
That's pretty stand up,
especially for free.
Yeah, it's super good, guys. And the first match I ever ran it through Practice Score and was going to publish scores on Sunday morning. And something was going wrong. I don't even remember what it was now. And called my contact at Practice Score, and he said, "Hey man, I'm getting ready to walk into church. Let me text one of our tech guys, and I'll get back with you when I get out of church." 45 minutes later, he texts me and he says, "Hey, your match is published." I don't remember what the issue was. He's like, "Our tech guy fixed it and went ahead and published for you."
Yeah.
Awesome.
On
a Sunday morning.
Yeah. That's good when companies are still small enough.
Stand up.
And you get all that personal attention. Yeah, that's great.
So
absolutely.
You had Zombie this year at a whole different venue over at the Lucas Oil there in Missouri, right?
Yes. Yes, well, Lucas Oil Cattle Company.
I'll just let you take it and let us know how it went, and the floor is yours, and we will interrupt when we need to. How's that sound?
Awesome.
Okay.
It went fantastically. First of all, I'm going to do a huge shout out to the people at Lucas Oil. They made the entire process going to a new venue that had never done this before at this venue. They made it super, super easy. And my contact there, she's the lodge manager, and I remember she kept calling me 2, 3, 4 weeks leading up to the event, going, "Tiger, I'm nervous. I don't know. We've never done anything like this." And I kept going, "I got it, Lorraine. Don't worry about it, Lorraine. I've got it." And she finally said, "If you tell me you got it one more time, I'm going to wring your neck." It's fine. And then after we got there and we got everything going and got set up running and everything, she was like, "Okay, you really do. You got it." She's like, "I didn't, and I was the same way because I'd call her nervous. Lorraine, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have this. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if that's going to work. And she'd tell me the same thing. I've got it, Tiger. I've got it, Tiger. Don't worry about it, Tiger. And the whole crew, everyone from Miss Lorraine, the woman who was my point of contact and the lodge manager and all that, all the way down to the guys working in the fab shop who were loaning me tools during build week. Everyone there was just number one superstars on helping me put on a fantastic event. And it went, I'm not going to say flawlessly, because there's a lot of stuff that happened that the public doesn't need to know about, but, but it went super well. And Lucas Oil is a big part of that. Lucas Oil Cattle Company is a big part of why that happened. And on the back end of that, the charity that we worked with, Protect the Harvest, they were super easy to work with too. It's we raised over $2,500 for Protect the Harvest, and that's all going to go to helping keep the shooting sports alive, keeping the hunting and conservation and the agriculture and all of that, keeping that way of life going, and that's what they promote. So I wanted to do a big shout out to them before we get to the actual stuff.
Sure. You got to use that money to rebuild the deer population that you guys are hammering.
It's a lot of corn to buy.
Yeah, that's right. Missouri is not struggling on deer population either.
Yeah, no, they're not.
We saw a lot of deer.
Yeah,
we saw a bunch of deer.
You better just hope those hogs don't get up from Texas.
Yeah, actually, they used to have hogs on Lucas Oil Ranch, and they don't anymore, and that's a testament to how seriously they took eradicating them. But yeah, beyond that, I had a great list of sponsors. I had 6 or 7 vendors show up, which is huge. It kind of turned it more into an event. We had a big chili cookout on Friday night. Everybody got to stand around campfire and socialize and do all of that. That was super fun. The event itself went really, really well. The shoot itself was awesome. I shot it on Thursday. My RO shot it on Friday, and then main competitors on Saturday. And I had some complaints this year that maybe the course was a little bit harder than it had been in the past, but then I had other people who said it was easier, and my DNF rates were actually down. So I don't know that it was harder, or if people just struggled on a couple of key stages that I knew people were going to struggle on.
Are you saying shots were harder, or the physicality, or all of the above?
The stages, the shots.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, I think, don't take me at 100% here, but I'm fairly sure that I'm the first ever run and gun to have a 800-yard shot. The target was huge, though. It was a huge plate that was out there. And then I had another stage that was double spinners. It was a rifle and a pistol spinner, and some people really struggled on that, having never shot spinners before. But some people really struggled to put together the 24-piece Paw Patrol puzzle that I had on the stage. That's not really my problem. It wasn't that hard of a puzzle. But yeah, overall, it really went super well, and I couldn't. I say I couldn't be happier. There were things, knowing what I know now, that I'm going to do different next year. But again, that's all kind of background stuff that's more on the logistics and the match director side of things than anything about the actual match itself. Like all my stages, I was pretty pleased with them. I've already got, ideas for 2021, and it was funny because on the drive home, I rode with a buddy down there. We were in his truck and pulled a trailer, and we were talking about stage designs and stuff. And I'm like, I just got done. I need to not think about this for a little bit. And he's like, well, but it's all fresh, and that's what it was. It was all fresh, and it was all ways to, bounce ideas off of each other and stuff. So
Right.
Well, I'm sure being at a new venue there's a big learning curve, and you'll come up that quite a bit after 1 year.
Yeah, because my first one in 2017, the venue had already done 2 by that point. Matt had already put 2 matches on at Rock Castle at that point. So, I already had a decent layout on a course and where I could shoot stages and all of that. And Lucas Oil, they've only been a range for 4 years. So they're still pretty new even to that, to being a range. And they took it and ran with it, and they don't do anything half-assed. And it's liable to become the premier shooting location in the Midwest if they want it to. If they decide that that's what they want to do, that's what's going to happen.
That's cool.
So you secured it again for next year, I take it?
Yeah. I have secured it. We don't have dates yet because I haven't looked that far ahead. But which it's the first Saturday after Halloween always. So probably be the 6th and 7th next year. But if this year was 7 and 8, I think we're on a down cycle again. As far as dates go, but we did well enough that they were okay with me coming back, which is always the goal.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I told that to a lot of people. And I am super proud of the crowd that showed up too, because at one point, we probably had 50 or 60 people camping on site. Because they don't have lodging there. They have lodging for my RO team, but they don't have like a hotel or anything on site. So a bunch of people camped. And Sunday, after we ran the rimfire, I'm going around and I'm cleaning up targets and taking down trail markers and all of that. And I got back and I was like, shit, I still got to clean up the campground. And I looked, and there wasn't any trash on the ground. There wasn't. I mean, there was nothing. It looked like nobody had been there, and I was super proud of the crowd that showed up, because that's a huge deal in getting places to let people come back.
Right, right.
And trash places, and
it just looks good on the shooting community as a whole if they're willing to go in and police themselves and be responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we had set up like 9 trash barrels in this little 9 or 10 trash barrels in this little half-acre to an acre spot that we had. And, we had provided plenty of stuff like that. But the fact that everybody used it really helped.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
So did you have that special guest show up that you said was going to come and run it?
No.
No?
She did not. She had COVID got in the way.
Oh, and who was that again? What was her name again?
Jade Struck.
Jade Struck. Yeah.
Yep. She was going to make it all the way up until about 2 weeks before the match.
Oh.
And then COVID got in the way, and I was like, well, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that just is what it is, and sometimes the rules and laws and different things are made, and we don't have a say in it. So.
Yep.
Right. But we had representatives, like I said, from 6 of my sponsors show up. Primer & Co., which is the T-shirt company that made the Matt shirts. Savage Roasters Coffee, and How Arms. How Arms does custom Cerakote jobs. They drove in from North Carolina, and I don't know if you guys are coffee drinkers or not. I am not, but if you get on Savage Roasters, they apparently have fantastic coffee. So, and like I said, How Arms, he does some amazing Cerakote stuff. He Cerakoted some Yeti cups for trophies for me, and then provided a couple of certs for the prize table. Who else showed up? Bluegrass Targets. They showed up and sold a bunch of steel. If you guys are looking for flat plate feel they're the people to talk to. Justin's a super good dude. And then I had a couple other vendors show up, and to be honest, I would have to look at my list because I don't remember who all showed up and who didn't. But I know those 4 companies really showed up and brought a lot of product and sold a bunch, and like it was a good time.
Every time you come on, you talk, do like an aftermatch show like this, you always have a person or a group of people or something like that like stood out to you that were just fun. They had a great time. I mean, I know you posted some on Facebook. There was a group that were they standing on a Humvee. You said they were blasting, rolling on the river and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of those groups.
Okay. So, that was actually on Rimfire Day. That was on Sunday. And that's a good buddy of mine. I'm not gonna say his name because he's still active in the National Guard,
sure.
SF, and also is an active government agent.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna call him out on Facebook, but him and his family came in, and they had more. Like I told them, I said, you guys are having more fun than should be legal. They were blasting, rolling on the river, and so, like I said, my buddy, SF, Green Beret, all of that good stuff, gets to my stage. And my stage is you climb up in the gunner seat of this Humvee and you have 10 shots on a Sasquatch target at like 60 yards or so. It's not a hard stage. It's all about how fast can you shoot. And then his wife steps up, and it's her first ever running gun, and she filleted him on stage time. And then her sister steps up and beats her, and then her sister's boyfriend steps up and beats her. But
just kept getting better and better.
Yeah,
it just kept getting better and better. But yeah, on like the next stage, they pantsed each other like in the middle of the stage, and so they were having a good time. Another couple of people who showed up. Our costume contest this year was awesome. It exploded. Like the last couple of years I've done this costume contest, and usually like 1 or 2 people dresses up. This year I think I had 16 teams dress up.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we had a Mario and Luigi, and they played even like the theme music that came along. We had some people dress up like people from The Walking Dead. We like all kinds of stuff. We had all kinds of cool costumes. We had Wonder Bread Woman and Superman Witch.
That's actually kind of clever.
Oh yeah. And but the winning team was a couple of my ROs, and they dressed up as Sizemore and De Niro from Heat.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the old movie Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So full suits. They carried bags with printed out like reams of paper, fake cash, and sacrificed performance for the sake of costumes. In that they took all of their optics off of their rifles and carried them the way that, the guys in the movies carried them, and their pistols were true to, like, they went all out on these costumes.
Little form over function.
Yeah, absolutely. and that's honestly, at the end of the day, because I took a bunch of votes, I think all my, took like 30 people voted, just people that I was randomly asking. And they beat out the Mario and Luigi team by 1 vote.
Oh,
so it was close. It was close. But that was the deciding factor. A lot of times was, man, they really gave up a match performance to dedicate to this costume. So
they were just there to have a good time, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And they had a blast. And then I had another team. And I will call them out by name, Haley Bean and Sean Murphy. And Haley did her first running gun in September at Legion, which is insane that she did Legion as a first running gun. I don't recommend that, but it's awesome. and she did well. But and then Sean Murphy is he's a Night Force sales rep in Atlanta. And here's the thing about Sean Murphy. I up until Zombie, I had never seen Sean Murphy lose a match ever. I've seen him compete in probably 30 different matches, and I'd never seen him lose. And he gets there and comes up against a team of a couple other superstars in the run and gun world, and they just couldn't get it done. These other two people were amazing, but Sean Murphy and Haley Bean filleted the course, second overall as a Jack and Jill team, which is nuts. Usually, that never happens. And then Sean Murphy decides when he gets back, he says, "Hey, do you have extra slots?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." He decides he's going to run it a second time as a lone survivor. So he packs all of his gear up again and does another 10K by himself.
Wow.
And comes in third overall.
Very nice.
Well, Todd would want to do like 100K. So
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah. But yeah, it was, I got so mad at him because he beat me on the long range stage, by like 5 seconds. But the fact that I was within 5 seconds of Sean Murphy makes me feel better.
Sure.
Like the guy who's doing that well, it makes me feel better about life. But yeah, they really slayed it. That's another thing I'm super proud of this year is I had 18 women show up to
Very
the
nice.
match. I had like 8 Jack and Jill teams, and then one of which was 2 women. And then a couple others show up. Like I had 18 women, and then on the 5K, I think I had 5 or 6 women, 4 or 5, who were first-time shooters, no less. All of the women on the 5K day were first-time shooters, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
that's great.
Yeah.
So what kind of, I know, people can bring, you've talked about some crazy firearms, rifles or pistols or just some oddballs that people have actually brought and carried. What were the crazy things you've seen this year?
Well, this year I saw a lot more larger caliber stuff.
Okay.
Because I had that 800-yard shot. So like Sean carried a 6mm Creedmoor bolt gun as a second rifle. Saw my first ever 300 Win Mag at a running gun. Guy carried a 300 Win Mag Bergara as a second rifle. Couple of Garands ran it. Speaking of which, a Garand will spin a spinner in 2 shots. It only takes 1 from a 300 Win Mag.
The whole thing falls over.
Yep. Ellis ran ran an iron-sided FAL. He was one of the heat guys. And carried it in a under the suit jacket style sling.
Oh my God.
Just like I think Sizemore did.
Yeah.
Or I think it was Sizemore. I think that's who carried the FAL in heat. But one of the Mario and Luigi guys, he carried a UP9 pistol, like an Uzi style pistol.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Holstered in his back pocket off of a sling.
Of course.
You're right. Saw a lot of AR pistols, couple of AKs, few FALs. Yeah, the wild assortment of bolt guns was the kind of the wild thing this year. Was people were carrying 2 guns, carrying 2 rifles.
Right.
For that.
So how does that work in your event? Do you have to take both rifles with you like from stage to stage as you're running, or can you swap out?
Yeah. No. You carry it the whole time.
You start with you rung what you brung, huh?
Yeah. You don't get to dump gear anywhere.
So they're running.
You run.
Okay.
Yeah, with 2 rifles. Like Sean carried his strapped to a backpack. Ben Wolf, he's the one who ran the 300 Win Mag. He carried his on a sling, on a second sling on his back, I think. Just stuff like that. Yeah, I know. One of my buddies, he carried his in one of my backpacks. I've got an Eberly stock gun runner pack that has a scabbard built into it, and yeah, he carried his bolt gun in that.
You keep bringing up all these good Idaho companies, Night Force and Eberly stock.
Oh yeah, yeah. Neither one of those sponsored my match this year. Night Force is sponsored in the past.
Hint.
Yeah, if I would love to have these two companies. Eberly stock is my pack company. I own 3 Eberly stocks currently, and I have a 4th that I'm getting ready to purchase, probably on the Black Friday deal. But yeah, a lot of companies from out west do sponsor me though. A couple of Montana companies like Proof Research, they sponsored me. Thunderbee sponsors me. They're from out there. Like, so
I just put one of their products in jail earlier this week.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Ultra 7
and 30 cal.
Yep.
That's a good choice. I tell everyone that if your first suppressor should be in 30 cal, unless it's in 338.
No, I think 30 will do me well.
Yeah. 30 is way more versatile and therefore better for a first can.
Yeah.
Now,
kind of a do your
after that you can, after that you can specialize a little bit. But everybody's like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever need to specialize. I'll just bounce a can from rifle to rifle, and I'm like, you say that, but but yeah. So what other questions did you guys have?
Yeah, Levi's got a list.
What you got?
He's looking at his phone and rubbing he's looking at his
phone
phone and rubbing his hands together.
Yeah, and you've been answering. Yeah, you've been answering several of them. One was, our AR pistols allowed, and you mentioned that. So that's because I know
you run them as your rifle though.
Yeah, exactly. And then and that was something I was wanting to know is, do most people run a pistol or a full size AR? I mean, if you're like, what is your kind of average, shot distance? Because if it's all, close, you'd want the pistol. But if you're, have 800-yard shots, I have an 18-inch AR with a 1 to 10 low power variable on it, and that seems like that'd be.
Oh,
good,
you got the new razor on.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
So I would say as far as ARs go, it's about half and half on pistols to rifles. And that's kind of the deal, especially with a team match, is everybody's like, well, I have this single pistol that I run all the time, but with you straight, only one person had to make a 700-yard hit.
Mm-hmm.
Both teammates did not have to make that hit. So it's really designed to where it should be a fire team style thing where one person, like me and my partner, he carried a Seekins AR rifle, AR-15. Idaho. Yep. They've sponsored me every year, but this year, and it was only because I called them too late. That was on me. Yeah, fantastic people over at Seekins. He actually bought that gun with a coupon code he picked up off of my price table.
Nice.
And I see a lot of rifles that are built off of my price table, honestly. I really do. And then I shot an AR-10 that I built about a year and a half ago and then sold to my partner. And whenever we were discussing it, he said, "Are you sure you don't want to shoot one of your own guns?" And I'm like, I'm pretty familiar with this weapon. I think I can handle it. Yeah. But I built this AR-10 in 6.5 Creedmoor. So it really is a DMR style. I built it to stretch out to 1,000 yards in a 10-pound package.
Yeah. And
he's added some stuff, so the weight's gone up a little bit. But he, he hit one clay, so I skipped the 200-yard target. So I went from 275 to 800 in 30 seconds. Like it was like 7 shots from those two distances. But on the flip side, he had a stage with 27 rifle hits that his AR-15 was way better suited to than my AR-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people on individual running guns, not team-based ones, but individual ones, run a pretty streamlined AR-10, or not AR-10, AR-15. Either a pistol or a 16-inch is pretty common, and a Glock 19. Like that's the most common setup for running gunners.
Yeah.
So
it looks like though, yeah, you've got some pretty long shots. So when your team with your team, it's like both team members are running with a rifle and a pistol. So it's not like one pistol, one rifle. Okay.
Correct. Although I'm considering doing a division next year called the Unprepared, where you don't carry rifles. You only carry your pistols. And then
I'm in.
Anywhere where there's, well,
I'm in.
You say that, but then anywhere where there's a rifle portion of the stage, you use stage guns. I provide you with the rifle.
It's going to be a hell of a lot better rifle than what I want to pack around, I'm sure.
Well, the difference there is sometimes it might be like ideally suited. Like I might give you my precision rifle bolt gun for the long range stage, but then I might give you my lever action 30-30 for the hoser stage.
Sir, sir, it is not going to make a bit of difference what rifle I have in my hands. I guarantee you that. I'm going to miss. It's going to be absolutely horrible, but it's one less thing I got to pack around. I can move a little faster.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, you won't miss with my RPR.
Okay.
I can almost promise you that rifle has a almost magical ability to find steel.
That's exactly what I need.
What's it chambered in?
6.5. It's a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like in the first 50 people to own a 6.5 RPR 5 or 6 years ago.
Nice.
I got it in. I got my pre-order in really early.
Cool. Well, I'll hit you up with a couple other questions. So,
All right.
On the ARs, red dots or low power variables, what are most people running?
Half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah. A lot of people are moving to the LPVOs, but we do have a lot of people who say, hey, red dots work, because most running guns cap out at like 300 yards.
Yeah.
And at that range, a red dot's fine.
Yeah. So. Are all the distances you're shooting known at yours that you tell everyone how far? So you have to You have to figure it out.
So like the long range stage, I told you that your closest target was at 200 yards. Your furthest required target was at 7, and then the bonus target was at 8. Everything else was in the middle of those was unknown. And the jump between target 2 and 3 really threw a bunch of people, because I went 200, 275, 440. So I completely skipped any 300-yard range.
Yeah.
And that really threw a bunch of people. And then I went to 540 and then 6 and 7. So, but generally speaking, I give you a rough range of, okay, you're going to have 27 hits from 75 to 125. And individual ranges I don't give, but you have that kind of general range.
Can they use a rangefinder?
On the shoot clock.
Yeah, so you're burning up your time.
Right.
How long do you usually get on the stage? Is it
3 minutes?
3 minutes? Is it always 3 minutes?
3 minute part time.
Okay, so it's
at my running gun, it's always 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you
other matches do 2 minutes, but I do 3.
Okay.
I'll need 6 if I show up.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to be scored against anyone else.
Yeah. The Do you always, when you go from like stage to stage, are you always going with like a cold weapon? Do you unload everything? Or
Yeah.
How does it work?
I allow hot pistol if you feel comfortable carrying a hot pistol. But if you drop a hot pistol, you're DQ'd and you go home. Your day is over.
Yep.
That's it. Rifles are cold between stages.
Okay.
Always. Yeah. Rifles are only loaded on stages.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Any restriction on mag size for pistol or
no.
rifle?
You can carry a 100-round mag if you want. I don't recommend it because they generally suck. And also they're hard to carry.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I make the partner carry that.
Right. Well, and it's funny because that Haley Bean and Sean Murphy team I told you about.
Yeah.
She is super fit. Like she does triathlons and she is super duper fit. And she carried all of his gear for a large portion of the course because he was a much better shooter
right
than she was. So she wanted him fresh on stages. And it worked.
That's a good plan, man.
Yeah. Tactics.
Yeah, it's a solid strategy. If you have a team set up to do that, it's a solid strategy.
If we go, Levi, if we decide me and Levi are going up here, I'm going to do nothing but like eat ice cream and stuff. And that way I can do all the shooting and you can pack all my crap.
Well, you don't know.
There you go.
The last question on my list was, can Todd give me a piggyback through the
Yeah,
whole thing?
absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Todd's got a bad back.
I get one of those baby carriers.
Yeah, she said she Sherpa'd for him the whole trip. It was her terminology.
So here's my question. This just brings up another question for me. So my last race I did about 3 weeks ago, I didn't finish. Okay, I didn't finish. I timed out. Right, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and almost 11 o'clock at night. I had 20 minutes left to go before I timed out. And I had 6 miles left, but I got lost. I took a few wrong turns a couple times, so I didn't cross the finish line, but I ran a mile further than everyone else that crossed the finish line did. So how well marked is your course, and do I need to bring some kind of survival package because I may get lost out there?
No. No, my course is very, very well marked.
Okay.
I don't think I had anybody. I had a couple of ROs who missed one turn. Because they were out there before I had literally put the sign up.
Gotcha.
Like I was on my way with the sign and they got there before I did, which is kind of part of the deal of being on RO day.
Yeah.
You're a guinea pig.
Right.
But I don't think I had any competitors get lost. I don't think. I might have had one or two that I didn't hear about.
You just haven't.
That would be rare.
You just haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's actually the nice thing about Lucas Oil compared to Rock Castle. Was at Rock Castle, some of the trails got pretty hairy.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil, the entire thing's accessible by side by side. We never got off of anything that we couldn't take a side by side to. Now that being said, rutted roads, loose rock, up and down pretty steep hills, like it's not blacktop.
Yeah.
But
so is that the trail that they were running on? I mean, it was a pretty good little elevation climb there and through rocks and stuff like that, or?
Yeah. There was quite a bit of elevation climb. I mean, we're kind of in the Ozarks where we're at, so, or at least in the foothills of the Ozarks.
Near.
So, yeah, absolutely. Driving in, you will think that.
Yeah.
But I forget the official elevation change. But whenever I was driving around looking at it back in January, I was like, man, there's really not a ton of elevation change on this course. And I even told some friends of mine that. And then I got there and I hiked it. And I was like, yeah, my GPS has determined that was a lie.
Yeah.
The one hill is over a mile long.
How much of a climb is it?
It's, I'm going to guess, probably 600 feet or so. It's not that high. It's not that big of a hill. but you're going uphill
forever
for a mile. Yeah.
Still.
And what sucks, what killed me on it, of course I knew the course, was it's in a valley, right? So you stand at the top of the other hill and you can see like a mile and a half to the turn.
Right.
And it's like, it's just a mental, like, people, I had people calling me in the middle of the hill, you mother, and everybody told me, they were like, yeah, we got to that first hill and we saw like, a white thing off in the distance, which was my turn sign. And they're like, surely that's not where we're going. That's something else, yada, yada, yada. And then we went down the hill, and then we started going up the hill. Then we went more, and 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 then we stopped and had a break, and then we went some more. And then we got there, and we were like, holy shit, we walked from over there to here. Like, because you can see for it, like,
right.
You can see the whole thing. It was a mental, it was a knife to the heart for me. But
I got us covered, Levi. You got to keep up.
Yeah.
So did you have any, I mean, I don't know everyone's carrying the gear, so I know what the answer is going to be, but I always got to ask. I mean, yeah, obviously you have people just kind of stroll it, and kind of get through the course and stuff. Did you ever had anyone that actually kind of like tries to run it, or I won't say full on run, but I mean like trot it or something?
No. We had people who full on run the whole thing. So 10K 6.5 was my official distance, 6.5 miles.
Right.
I think my fastest time was an hour and 45 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, something like that.
And that includes shooting and everything. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's shooting and everything. So they probably had.
How many stages do you have?
8. They probably had 12 to 15 minutes on the shoot clock.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, you're looking at an hour and a half, 10K carrying gear over obstacles.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they were cooking.
I talk big. I'm not saying I'm going to run that by any means, but I don't know.
Well, again, going back to the truly impressive, Sean Murphy did his lone survival run second.
Yeah.
So he did, I think his official time was like 2 hours and 25 minutes on his second 10K of the day carrying gear. Like, I mean, it's, we have some runners who show up. A lot of people do just hike it, or they try to run the flat spots and then they'll walk the uphills and downhills.
Just like I do in a race.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you gotta shoot periodically through there. So you gotta, think about that.
Yeah. Got to carry gear. That's really the biggest thing. Like everybody's like, oh, whenever we first started doing all of these, and there were only 5Ks. Like we'd only done 5Ks at that point.
Right.
East of the Mississippi, they've been doing 10Ks and 15Ks and 20Ks west for years. But east of the Mississippi, 5Ks. Everyone's like, man, I can do a 5K in like 25 minutes. I'm like, yeah, but can you do it carrying 40 pounds of gear?
Right.
Well, my gear only weighs like 25 pounds. And I'm like, have you weighed it lately? And have you ran carrying gear? Because running carrying gear is totally different.
Oh, it is. It
shakes, it rubs, it bounces, it chokes you.
You need to hit up. You need to hit up Squirrel Nut Butter for one of your sponsors.
Oh yeah, they're on the list for next year.
They are good. They are a lifesaver.
Yeah. But I've never wanted to throw a rifle into a river so much as I did one carrying my little bullpup AK. Right. I didn't have a sling. I'd forgotten a frickin' sling.
Oh no!
And so I made a field expedient sling out of a piece of paracord. Just tied a piece of paracord to it,
Sure.
And it almost choked me to death. And by mile 2.8, I was ready to just throw it in a frickin' river. Like I was so over that thing.
I bet.
Like, and at that point, I literally just cut the sling off and just carried it. Like, it was just easier just to carry the damn thing. But
Well, I always, we always talk, and I always say I want to come out. I need to come out. You've heard the story, right? You've heard my excuses.
every year.
Now that Levi's expressing some interest here, I really would like to come out. Freaking COVID though has pushed my race, canceled my race, and pushed it over to this year. Now, they haven't set up a date for it's in Oregon. They haven't set up a date, but it's usually pretty close to, so I just got to look fund-wise and see what it's going to be like. Now, a good part of Oregon burned down. So
right, yeah.
if it's like local here, we aren't even allowed back where we burned. We're not even allowed on the trails again till into July, and then it's still up in the air after that. So I'm not sure. Right. I'm not sure what they're going to do over there, and I'm just trying to wait and see. Part of me, to be honest with you, is kind of hoping that they cancel it at this point. Here's the thing: is I want to do a 100-mile race, but you know what? I paid the money, and it's been so long. I'm kind of over it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I completely understand because I've done that with pre-orders on stuff or even running gun.
Yeah.
And that's like the one running gun I did. They opened registration up like 9.5 months before the event. And
right.
Honestly, if I hadn't gotten the email 3 weeks before the event happened, I wouldn't have gone because I had forgot about it. Like I wasn't. I'm like, oh shit, I should probably shoot something or train on something
right.
But
part of me is thinking, I don't know this for sure, we're still ways out. Part of me is almost thinking the time I get my family to go up there to the race with me and I get them to kind of crew for me and I find a freaking pacer, and part of me is thinking at this point I might well just like cut my losses and rather probably spend less money going to the run and gun. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can do both. And I had wholly planned on actually going to the 2021 run and gun. I even talked to my wife, and then my race rolled over. So it's still up in the air. And now that Levi's shown some interest, I know it's not just me that wants to go. So I don't know. I may surprise you. Now we'll see. I haven't fully decided yet, but I'm about over this. I mean, I want to run a 100-miler, but I'm just about over it. This one, you push it off. I get excited for it. They push it off. I don't know that I'm excited anymore.
Right. Well, and I tell you what, it's an interesting thing seeing people run their first running gun.
Right. Oh, great.
Because they get back, they get done, and one of the wives actually expressed it to me as the high of running gun.
Yes.
The day after, you feel awesome.
Like you could take on the world, probably.
Oh, yeah. I just went and did this badass thing, yada, yada, yada. All
I know. It's the same way after a race. I totally get it.
Yeah, right, yeah. But you also get this, I kind of struggled on this stage, so I need to go home and train on this. I need to go home and train my shooting on this. Like my fitness, and you're not going to struggle on the fitness part. Some people, that's what they struggle on. That, okay, I need to go home and I need to get into a couch to 5K program or a couch to 10K program, or I need to start lifting weights or whatever.
Right.
But you're going to come to this thing, you're going to go home and you're going to be like, man, I really need to shoot rifle more. Or, man, I thought I was a really good pistol shooter, but I'm really.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I probably am. And maybe that's what scares me is I'm like, son of a gun, I teach people this crap. Why did I do better? I'm such a freaking failure.
Well, but it's good to know, right? Like it's a good
it's good for other
failure.
It might not be good for me to know.
It would be. It'll be good for you to know. Like
the red dot's gonna save me.
Yeah.
Probably
red
will.
dots help, man. Red dots help. Yeah. And a buddy of mine, so I'm a big proponent for a Mantis X system.
I love Mantis
dry fire
X.
system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got one too.
Super awesome. Yeah. A buddy of mine never got into it because he said he could get as much data out of dry firing with a red dot, like he can see the dot move
Yeah.
as much. And I'm like, And now he's tried the Mantis and he's like, okay, yeah, you're right. But you start dry firing with a red dot and it does help over irons.
Oh yeah.
It really does. But yeah, and it doesn't replace a Mantis, but it definitely like if you see your dot move, you're like, okay, I called that shot. I went low left, and then you look at the man. It's okay, yeah, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they sponsor me every year. They're a fantastic company, and I've got one, and several of my buddies have one now, and it's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, any last words, sir?
I don't know.
I know
Levi, you got any more questions?
Do you got any more questions, Levi?
No, I think that's pretty good. I can hit you up if I have anything else pops up.
Facebook.
Yeah, hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep, I am always responsive on Facebook, except for December. I won't respond in December. But as far as last words go, like I said, it was a really good time. It's always a good time talking to you guys. I don't know. I'm excited to do it again. I'm a little bit nervous because I might be getting into a master's program this year, and I'm not sure how I'm going to pull all of that off.
Well, if I decide I come, it better happen, and you better be there.
Well, it's 99.999% on.
Okay.
Because the master's program that I applied for is kind of a reacher program. I'm not real confident I'm going to get accepted.
Right.
But I had to apply at least. It was.
You'll know in plenty. You'll know plenty of time ahead of time.
I'll know by mid-December whether or not I get into the program.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, actually, there's all kinds of stuff happening for me in mid-December. That's coming back. My FFL application should be coming back.
Nice.
I got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I decided that if I was going to be in the world, I might as well be in the world.
Right.
So.
Well, I still plan. If I come up, I'm bringing the podcast crap up with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got how that's going to work all already planned out.
Okay.
I know exactly where we're going to do it there at the lodge, and we will. And if you come out early enough, where you want to run on Friday, and then just spend all day Saturday walking around interviewing people,
that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
You can run on Friday. That's not a problem at all. We can make that happen. I've actually got more time on Friday than I do on Saturday.
Great.
So,
now you're going to drive around and see how I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we don't. We don't need that at all.
Yeah, you'll be all right. God,
no, I want to do this now.
Do it, man.
I'm gonna think. I got a month or so. I'm gonna think long and hard about, because my wife, if I said I didn't want to do that 100 miles, she'd probably go, "Oh, okay, no problem."
Yeah, right. Like she'd be like, "Okay, you don't want to be the world's biggest dumbass."
The money was spent a year and a half ago. I mean, it's not like that's not even a problem anymore.
On these type of races, it's not the money; it's the every weekend.
I would still train. I would still train because I still have other races coming up. I got 100.
Yeah,
I got 100K in April. So
yeah.
It's different though, because actually I listen to, and you can call me a cultist if you want. I listen to a CrossFit podcast, Chasing Excellence.
Yes, that's a great podcast.
It's a fantastic podcast
with Ben Bergeron.
I was listening to it last night, and he was talking about it was what workout to do after a cheat day.
Yes.
Which I felt was appropriate. Or it was Thursday night. Which I felt was appropriate to listen to as on my hike at the end of Thanksgiving.
Right.
But he was talking about people. What was the question? It was like, what kind of training should I do working up to a meet and this and that and the other? And he said you shouldn't really change your training at all just to a local meet.
Right.
He said. He was training, I forget who he called out, but one of the top athletes who possibly won the games this year. He said, the games are coming up in 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
She is working through nagging injuries and all of this, and then she's putting way more higher volume workouts in and all of this because she's prepping for the games in 3 weeks. He said, now in a week and a half, we're going to start sliding down.
Yes.
But right now,
Taper.
Yeah, you can say that you can that you'll keep training, but you're not going to train the same as if you had a 100-miler coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't happen. But yeah, for anybody who's looking for another excellent podcast other than this one, Chasing Excellence is fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great podcast. He switched. I don't know. They did something for a while, and I lost the feed, and then I found it again. But he's and they're short too, like 20, 30 minutes at the most.
Yeah, 30, 35 minutes is usually a long one. So
yeah, he's a pretty impressive guy to listen to, and he is very freaking disciplined in his life. It's absolutely amazing to hear. I mean, that's a totally off topic, but he's pretty amazing, dude.
Well, it is, but it isn't, because a running gun friend of mine turned me on to the podcast.
Right.
And she actually she's got me doing some CrossFit workouts.
Yes.
Yeah. I did a Murph.
A Murph.
Monday of last week. It was my first ever Murph.
Was it full Murph, half Murph, modified? What was it?
It was modified in that I didn't wear a vest.
Okay.
So it was slick, but it was a full Murph. And by the end of the pull-ups, I was basically doing single jumping pull-ups.
Oh, yeah.
I was cheating bigger than shit.
Oh, yeah. And everybody does. Most everyone does, yes.
Yeah, right. But I did it in like 57:22 or something like that.
Very nice.
For a first one, I was very pleased with my performance.
I've done
my
it.
My body hated me for 4 days. But.
Oh yeah. I've done it a handful of times. So it's been a while since I've done a Murph, because I do CrossFit, but I was into CrossFit. Like, that was all I did. Then I started running, so I started mixing the two. And then I kind of got away from CrossFit for about 5 or 6 months. So the Murph is the full Murph is a weighted vest. It's a mile run. It's how many pull-ups?
100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300
air squats.
Air squat.
Yes.
Air squat.
You do those air squats and you head out and then it's a mile run at the end.
Oh wow!
And then a mile run at the end, and that didn't bother me at all. Like, the squats and the push-ups didn't bother me at all. It was the pull-ups that really killed me.
Yeah.
But I could probably do 200 push-ups like without stopping. If I really wanted to push myself. When you do several thousand a day in the Marine Corps, you get to where you really know how to do push-ups.
And see, my upper body strength is crap, so the pull-ups are tough for me. The push-ups are tough now. I mean, they were always a struggle, but I got to where I could do it. And I was doing a full Murph, full weighted vest, you name it, right?
Yeah.
It was taking me, longer than that took you, but I was getting it done.
But you were in a vest too. So.
Yeah, but now if I were to go back and do it, I would struggle, because I literally ran off a ton of the muscle I built. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I ran it off, and now I don't even do really upper body. I'll do burpees and some push-ups and stuff like that, but it's all leg strength stuff. So
yeah.
But anyhow,
which is where the squats came in for me too, because since I have I've got a bad knee, and when I say run, I kind of shuffled it.
Right.
Which slowed down my Murph time quite a bit.
Sure.
But I do enough just PT, physical therapy for my knee, like whenever I was in and doing it, like, right after my knee surgery that went horribly wrong happened, I was doing leg day like 4 days a week.
Right.
Like, my thighs were huge, and I still have a similar regimen where I do leg day 3 or 4 days a week. Basically, I don't do like a full squat, leg presses, all of that, but I do some yoga stuff and some squats and some, different things like that. So air squats weren't a big deal for me. The run and the pull-ups killed me.
After you do the 300 air squats, though, you can't feel your legs for like a half a mile anyway.
Yeah. Your legs are shot at that point, anyways. Like, it was like, oh, okay, whatever.
So
but I don't know. I'm planning on doing another one probably first of the year.
Nice.
and do it with the full weighted vest and all of that, and get as much get the full experience, I guess.
The weighted vest is heavy, but you don't have to go down as far.
Right.
so there's that.
Yeah.
But Anyhow, man, I don't want you to be late for your fight that you want to go watch.
Yeah. Tyson and Jones Jr. tonight. I've actually got a buddy. He should be getting here about any time.
Okay,
He'll pick me up. We're gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will let you go. I appreciate you reminding me that we usually do this. I always enjoy talking to you, and like always, I need to just pull my head out of my butt and call you and get you actually on the podcast. I think we did that once. Didn't we do that once this year?
Well, we did it. We did it back in January when I was driving.
Yeah, I remember.
That's right. You called. Yeah.
Because I saw you on a live and I was like, hey dude, I'm literally driving and available if you want to call me.
Yeah. So we need to do that somewhere. Maybe what I'll do is I'll get my red dot on someday.
Yeah.
And I will get it out and shoot it, and I'll call you and give you the after report.
After action.
There you go. And I've got a couple of I got the Maxim, and we haven't talked about it yet since I've shot it.
Yes. We need to do that. So
we need to do that. So
we'll save that. We're not going to give that. We're going to give everybody everything.
It's a teaser.
It's a
no.
teaser.
Teaser. Next time I'm on, we'll do a full. We can talk red dots and suppressors because I've gotten a couple of those.
And I don't have either yet.
Last talk. Yeah, you need the suppressor game is where it's at. Once you start shooting suppressed, and it's really part of the problem. Because you shoot one rifle suppressed, and you're like, man, it's really nice that I don't have to wear hearing protection. And,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, and the Maxim is really ridiculous. I don't particularly suggest everyone have one, but you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I've got the red dot, so I'll just ease into everything else. Right. Baby steps with me, man. Baby steps.
Yeah.
So
it's just like everything else. Buying guns is the cheap part of this hobby.
Right. Oh yeah.
It's the accessories and the ammo that cost everything.
Yeah, that's what and right now ammo is a big part of that cost. So
yeah, I'm not real ecstatic about the way ammo costs are going, but yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But hey, I thank you for your time this evening, Tiger. You go and enjoy the fight, and I will keep you updated on. Levi's looking at me, and I have a feeling we're gonna have a little conversation here when I shut this thing down on what's gonna happen, maybe.
There you go.
So, hey, I enjoy talking to you as always. You take care, man.
You too, guys.
Okay, bye.
Right, catch you later.
Bye.
Okay, that was Tiger Schultz. Joined me and Levi this evening talking about his run and gun, his after action report. And like always, it sounds like they have a great time. And we got to get out there possibly. I'm really, really considering getting out there. I just got to. Yeah, I got to think on it a little bit more.
Well, yeah, and it's a big deal to pull all that stuff together, fly with your guns and ammo.
We're driving, dude.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's what we need to talk. I don't know what we're doing. I don't.
Yeah, but you leave driving. I mean, it's not like a 4-hour drive. That's a jaunt over there to Missouri. So
we'll figure it out. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't like flying. You might have to get vaccinated to fly now pretty soon. So
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I might not do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's but yeah, I mean either way it's not a, it's a big destination type event for people from out of state. So yeah, it's
right.
Not something you can just, decide on off the whim, so.
Sure. I decide all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I appreciate everyone joining us or listening to the podcast, joining us. We didn't do this live or anything. I appreciate everyone listening to the podcast. Again, this will be an extra podcast this week. If you enjoyed it, share it on social media, share it with your family, share it with your friends. Make them to subscribe. You can get them a free subscription for Christmas.
There you go.
You just go there and they say, hey, where's my gift? Say, give me your phone, man. And you just look it up on Spotify. You can look it up on iTunes. You can look it up on Stitcher and hit subscribe and said, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
There you go.
Every week you will remember this gift that I gave you.
That's right.
If you got any questions or comments, let me know. Area code, you can text, you can call. Area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. And thanks for joining us, Levi. And we'll have to get you back out here again. You need to come down and visit a little bit more. Especially when it gets nicer, we can do some shooting.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to, you're going to stick around for a minute because I'm going to convince you to buy that Burris Fast Fire 3 for me.
Okay.
So I can upgrade. Until then, I'll see you guys in a week. Bye.